Consider for a moment that all that exists is mind. That reality is not necessarily material. Reality is a thought. If you looked at reality as a thought in the mind of God, what would that mean? What would that mean? Well, we as thinkers experience thoughts all the time. We experience, like, as I'm talking, you have an experience of the words that I'm saying, and you interpret the words that I'm saying through your own experiential lens and through your own sort of worldview. And so they're translated by your mind into something that that you can understand, right? You can fit it like a puzzle piece into your current worldview. Now, how to put this? If all of reality is a thought in the mind of God, then who is God? Who is the one that's doing the thinking? It's a really obvious answer. Does anybody want to guess?
We are.
That's the big secret. That's the big secret. It's you. The big secret, and I should clarify that, because when I say you are God, a lot of people are like, oh my God, I, Aiden, am God. And it's like, no. Aiden is not God. God is Aiden. That's very different. It's very, very different things. So you, ego, Aiden, person, not God, but God manifesting as Aiden as the sort of filtration system, like God, awareness, consciousness, universal intelligence, you could think of as this ultimate source of just pure potential, can create anything, can think any thought, has thought up the entire universe. Now, Aiden, we could say, Aiden, the mind of Aiden, all of Aiden's emotions, all of Aiden's memories, all of Aiden's survival biases, past experiences, perceptual filters, worldviews, belief systems, your nervous system, your physical tightnesses, everything that you know as yourself, your karma, your ancestry, everything. That source of pure awareness, pure potential is beaming through Aiden like a prism. And what's being beamed through that prism, the prism is refracting it out into this thing that we call reality. So there's God, pure awareness, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. There's Aiden, which we could call mind. And then there's reality, world. Pure awareness beaming through the prism of the ego, creating everything that you know. So that means that your mind as you know it, your Aiden mind, and by mind, I'm talking mind, emotions, karma, psyche, physical body, everything, like everything, is completely and totally generating the reality that you're experiencing right now. And that point of awareness, when I said, who is the thinker? Who is that aware? What is that awareness? It's you. Mind is the thing that you're wearing. Mind is the thing that you're wearing. And so when that pure awareness hits that prism of mind and refracts out and creates this reality around you, what determines how that reality is experienced is the mind that is creating it. And so that's why we meditate. That's why we do emotional processing. That's why we clear cannabis out of our system. That's why we do all these things, because literally the mind is generating reality. The mind is determining reality. The mind is creating reality. And if our mind is like this tangled up, uh, knot of wiring. If you go behind your TV right now, you might see a whole bunch of jangled up wires that are like uh, all in knots with each other, and the plug is like halfway out of the wall, and like this thing's all fucked up over here, and it's all covered in dust and dog hair. If we take that and we look at like the state of the mind of most of Western civilization, most of the human population, if we take that and we just untangle all of it, we clear all the dust off, we organize the wires, we know exactly where each of them are, exactly what each of them do. They're all running streamlined. That's a totally different reality. That's a totally different reality. And that's what all of this internal work is. And the potential of the mind, therefore, is literally anything that can be dreamed up. Because the mind of God, which is what you at the very source are, can think any thought into existence. Fucking anything. And every single thing that could ever be thought is being thought by God. But your experience of all of that is determined by that prism of the mind that you are. And so again, like the tangled wires analogy, if the like pure potential, pure awareness consciousness is refracting through this prism of just like dust and crap and tangled mess of wires and thoughts and beliefs, and like they're all jumbled up together and pulling on each other, and if what's going to be created in reality, what's the experience of life going to be? It's, probably pretty frustrating. Probably pretty frustrating. But if it's being beamed through this clean prism with defined, precise lines that refract, and like every angle is right in place, and maybe you filter the light in this way through this certain side of the prism to get this particular result. You're like molding your reality, you're shaping reality as you experience it. And that's the potential of the mind, is to create your entire experience of reality, because the mind is the filter through which you experience reality. That's the potential of the mind. The mind meaning your individual mind, right? The potential of like the God mind is infinite. It's a fucking anything you could dream up and everything that you can't dream up. The potential of your mind is to channel that into your experience of life itself. And so when that business partner of mine, you probably all heard me tell this story, we're sitting up on this mountain in Rio de Janeiro, looking down at these favelas and carnival going on in the streets below. And we may or may not had some augmentation going on that day. So but we're having a conversation, and he's like playing with this idea of living your life as a work of art. Living your life as a work of art. What is the art? The art is in the way that you use your mind to generate the reality that you're experiencing. In other words, your life. So the artistry, the life artistry, is this. It's the mind. And so the potential is literally, in one sense, it's limitless. In one sense. In another sense, it's limited by your ability to use and transform and purify your mind within the time that you have on this earth. So it is limited in a sense. In another sense, it's totally limitless. And the spiritual journey beyond this lifetime is one of like untangling all the wires, purifying that whole prism until the prism itself is purified and just merges back with that like source of everything. So it's a process of God splitting itself into all of these infinite parts. Because what else is God going to do? Dreaming up Aiden and Jackson and Liam and Josh and Kyle, dreaming up these fragmented individual manifestations of itself, and then realizing what it is and becoming itself again. It's like playing hide and go seek. And so the potential of the mind is God. God forgetting it's God, pretending it's Aiden, and then going on a journey. Kyle, that word, journeying, the real journey, the real purpose of all journeying is back to the source of what you really are. So that's the potential of the mind. And that's why we do this work. And that's why I'm like, yo, this is the coolest shit going. And frankly, it's the only shit going. As far as I'm concerned, that's my perspective, is that like all other goals, making money, banging chicks, having relationships, raising a family, going on vacation, whatever, all of that, it's just downstream, passing the time, preliminary, until we wake up and realize what the true game is. All of that is just like uh, watered down replacements for the real goal. But when you know what the goal really is, then you can actually do any of those things if they're in service to the goal, or if you want to, frankly, because it's your life. It's your work of art. Paint it however you like. But if like the commitment is to the ultimate goal, then actually, like, there are so many different ways to untangle the wires, right? To purify that prism. There's so many different ways. You could go on vacation and have this experience that radically transforms the way that you view some certain aspect of reality, that like unties two of the wires, and now you can plug it in directly to the like main line of the television feed, and now you have like 10 more channels. This can happen in any way. It can happen sitting up on the peak of Rio de Janeiro, tripping acid, and your business partner tells you some weird shit about living your life as a work of art. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You go post that on Instagram and see how many likes you get. And then here I am 10 years later talking about it like it's this profound philosophical statement. That's the journey. You see it like it. The mind is generating your entire reality. It's generating your entire reality because it's the filter through which reality is experienced, and it's the filter through which reality is created. And you are that mind. Therefore, the potential of the mind is complete and total creative control over your life and your experience of reality. Going back to that starting point of all of it, it's pure potential, pure awareness, God, if you care to call it that. There's this undifferentiated just potential to become anything, to think any thought, to dream any dream. When that then dreams up individual Aiden, this little subsection, this hair on the big toe of God, when Aiden is dreamed up, if the journey is one of coming back to God, right? God remembering itself. It's the finding in the game of hide and go seek. That's the goal of the game. If that's the goal, then there are infinite paths to that goal, and no one individual path is the same. Everybody has a different journey back. So that journey back can take so many shapes. My particular journey seems to, at this point, have taken me into this crazy ass jungle shamanism realm, and like teaching this stuff and philosophizing on camera and whatever this thing is that I'm doing right now. A lot of the time it feels, I will tell you, the further I go, the less it feels like I have a choice in the matter. The less it's me deciding that this is what I want to do. And a lot of the time I decide I don't want to fucking do this. A lot of the time I'm just like, oh my God, like really? Can I just like go build a regular business and like let me, I don't know, just do some random shit, have a family, chill out, have a beer, smoke a joint, like and the further I go, the less it feels it's Taylor doing it. That's how I know I'm doing the right thing. Because if the end goal is not for me to be saying these things and teaching on camera and playing shaman on the weekends and That's not the end goal. The end goal is God realizing itself. So whatever path to the goal is going to make the most sense, whatever path to the goal is uniquely yours and is true, that's what a purpose is. And that can literally be anything. One of the first parables, my primary teacher, not Ricardo, and not I haven't spoken about him publicly. My primary teacher, one of the first parables that he ever told me was of the enlightened janitor. And the short form of that parable is that, like, the janitor is cleaning the halls at the school every day, and everybody's looking down on the janitor, and secretly he's this enlightened sage, because that is completely and totally, and it's totally possible. It's totally possible that his unique path led him down that road. And he may be far further down the path than the, like, world famous rock star celebrity. Our society doesn't see it that way, but in the mind of God, like, you're either closer or you're further away. You can't trick the universe. And so that's just to say that purpose can take any form, but the unique form that it takes, the, like, true purpose, is the one that brings you back to the real thing, back to the big mind. And the way to discover that is by purifying the prism. When the prism is completely clear, if you picture back here, there's, like, perfect, undifferentiated, pure awareness. It's like whiter than white. It's like pure light, right? If it hits this prism and it refracts out into this reality that we see in front of us, and we're experiencing whatever reality it is, there's some, like, challenge over here, there's some pleasure over here, there's a joint and a glass of whiskey over here, there's some chick that's mad at you over here. As the prism purifies, it's not necessarily that those elements of reality change. They may change, and everything does, but it's that this source of light that's being shone through the prism and refracted into reality, that light starts to shine everywhere. You can see the light at the source of everything in everything, because the prism is so clear and so pristine that light is just shining directly through it. And so you see God in the tree, and in that chick that's angry at you, and in the joint, in the whiskey. There's nothing that isn't God, because it's all a thought in the mind of God anyway. But if the prism is all cloudy and janked and, then we can't see God anywhere. We can't see it. And you can tell in somebody. I think I told Jackson this metaphor when I was in a cranky mood one day. I was like, if you speak fluent Spanish and somebody is speaking what they say is Spanish to you, but it's not Spanish, you can tell immediately, right? It's like, that's not fucking Spanish. I speak Spanish. Or if I speak English and somebody is, like, trying to talk English at me, but all the words are out of order, and, like, I'm just like, that's not English, not fluent. That's in the mind of God. It's like, you can't fake it. You can't fucking fake it. Going to church doesn't mean you know God. Memorizing the Tao Te Ching doesn't mean you know God. Wearing white robes every day doesn't mean you know God. Being nice to people because you think that that's the right thing to do doesn't mean you know God. The only way you know God is not through belief. It's not through action. It's not through any of that shit. It's by knowing God directly, because you see the light of God in everything. You can't not see it. So yeah, once again, that transforms, like, all of reality. That transforms all of reality. And I don't know what a worthier goal would be.